So, my name is Anne. I was in the Modern European Studies program from 2014 to 2016 now. I'm graduating this month, actually. And for the past half year, I've worked on my thesis. And I wrote my thesis on contemporary debates about immigration and national identity in Germany and France. So I did a comparative study. And I focused on two controversial public figures, one in each country, that had just published books on immigrants and talked about the supposedly detrimental effect of immigrants, in particular Muslims, on national identity and national culture in Germany and France. So I wanted to compare and contrast them by looking at the books and the kind of arguments that they put forth, but also by looking at the public and the political reactions to these books. So on the one hand, I tried to show that their arguments are very still contingent upon the national frameworks in Germany and France and how people have traditionally addressed issues of immigration and national identity, which are very distinct. And on the other hand, I wanted to show that there is an argumentative overlap between both countries, especially when they talk about Muslim immigrants. And I concluded that actually, even though Germany and France are often depicted in the literature as opposing archetypes when it comes to nationhood and treatment of foreigners, but I found with my study that that's actually not the case and that they have become very similar in terms of how they talk about immigrants, but also how they politically exclude them, in particular Muslims. So I ended with a note that that is still missing in scholarship and that should be explored further. So to do research for my thesis, I went to Europe for a few months to speak to the people who had been involved in the debates that I was looking at. So I contacted journalists and scholars and also practitioners in the field of immigration because I wanted their opinion and their impression of the debates that they had been involved in, because they had published in newspapers about it and kind of participated in this conversation. And I also wanted to know if they still thought that the debates sparked by these two books were still prevalent, were still important, or if people had moved on by this point. And it just so happened that I went to Europe at a time when immigration was a huge topic because of the so-called refugee crisis that started last year. So I had some really interesting conversations because the topic just became so prevalent in public discourse, not just for experts, but for everyone involved. So it was also just interesting to be in Europe and to see how people actually interact with immigrants, and particularly the refugees that were actually on the street, so people couldn't avoid that. So a big reason why I chose the program at Columbia is its interdisciplinary nature, because I'm interested in questions surrounding immigration and national identity. And this topic kind of sits at the intersection of politics, sociology, and history. So in order for me to really explore the questions that I was interested in, I wanted to take a more multifaceted perspective. And here in the program, I could pick and choose the classes that were important for my topic specifically. I wasn't bound to just one discipline or one department. I could kind of tap into the different departments and have different perspectives.